Hello there, let's play a little game. Here are several interesting facts about how much stuff modern people own. Guess which one is correct. First one, average American household owns over 600,000 items. 600,000. Second one, 88% of 5,000 people who participated in a survey about their households said that at least at one point of their life they felt stressed about how much non-essential things they owned. And last one, average child in Western Europe plays only with 5% of the toys he or she has. So which one was correct? Actually, none of them. I made them up 5 minutes ago, gotcha. But one thing we can definitely agree on is that nowadays it's quite easy to buy stuff. You can find whatever you want on the web and order a delivery to your door. You don't even have to leave your room to do it. As a kid, I always owned less things than other people I was familiar with. One of the reasons was probably that we were poor, but even when new possibilities to own more things emerged, I still didn't want to own things that didn't really make me happier and that weren't important. That's what I was thinking of again when I was reading Essentialism. And no, it didn't become a guide for me on how to live my life. Actually, none of the books I've read seemed so revolutionary that I applied 90% of the things mentioned there. But contrary to beliefs of many people, self-help books weren't a waste of time for me, because it made me think. This video includes 4 of the lessons which made me rethink my attitude towards everyday things. And no, I didn't consider information in the book as an undeniable truth. And if I remember correctly, this is not the type of book which focuses mostly on recent scientific findings. And even scientific data shouldn't always be considered as an undeniable truth as well. Nonetheless, it's the closest to it thing we have. This book was rather a source of inspiration, a pool of great ideas which I later developed and decided to base some of my habits on. This video is a collection of ideas and principles that helped me become a minimalist. Basically my interpretation of the book. So the point of the video is not just to cite the book, but share with you my perspective. And before we get right into it, I want to remind you that if you're interested in new videos on productivity, health and happiness, you're welcome to subscribe to my channel and smash the like or dislike button to let me know whether you like this video. Essentialism is about deliberately distinguishing the vital few from the trivial many. As McEwan writes, only once you give yourself permission to stop trying to do it all, to stop saying yes to everyone, can you make your highest contribution towards the things that really matter. This was something I used to struggle with all the time, especially when it comes to saying no to other people's requests. I had a belief that I shouldn't refuse most of them and thought of it as something that would make me look miserable in their eyes. Also, sometimes I believed that I simply had to do it, like I didn't have a choice. But it quickly changed later in my life. Actually, feeling of time pressure is no joke. 24 hours is 1,440 minutes. That's quite a large number, but in reality, it doesn't feel like it at all. So how do I even solve this problem? You can time travel. Just when you feel like it, move to an earlier time zone. But seriously, one of the most obvious for me ways to free up some precious time is to reduce the amount of time I spend doing some of my regular habitual behaviors or even completely stop doing some of them. Basically, firstly subtract, then add. This is when I for a millionth time thought of the importance of proper prioritization. Even when my interests changed, I always could calibrate my schedule in order to make it more suitable for my goals. When I, for example, wanted to play saxophone more times per week, by the way I played soprano, which is not really common, and I realized that my schedule was already full to the appropriate for me brim, I didn't reduce my sleep time. Never was a fan of such a method. I just thought of what I could possibly change. That's what McEwan calls less but better. But even if you agree with this idea, sometimes you may get into that momentum of your daily life and forget about priorities you set for yourself. So maybe it's time to rethink your daily routine and find those weak spots which waste your time but don't bring much value. Okay, we're done here. Let's move to the next thought. How many times you say to yourself that you have to do something, like you don't have any options? This is what's referred to in the book as living by design, not by default. It may mean embracing responsibility for the direction of your life is moving towards. Of course, You are not almighty, so to fully control some aspects of your life like health, but from my perspective, that feeling of being helpless should not go too far. There are some cognitive distortions which many of us, maybe everybody, falls victim to occasionally. For example, labeling, like I'm a total failure, or overgeneralization, for example, I don't have lots of money, friends, or whatever, so I'm a loser. The author didn't talk about them, as I remember, but it came to my mind recently. When you have such thoughts, you might feel like you can't change anything. According to cognitive behavioral therapy, bad feelings may occur after our automatic thoughts. And probably the hardest part is changing our core principles, which I wouldn't really help you with right now, unless I was a trained therapist, which I'm not. Getting back to the topic, I don't really think I'm unlucky, and I don't believe that slight changes in my environment and health would suddenly make me a high achiever without any effort. Next one, the art of trade-offs. The author talks about replacing I can do both with I can do anything but not everything. This point caught my attention while I was reading this book. I even cited this phrase a couple of times. This topic is closely related to the things I earlier mentioned. Every task comes at the cost of doing it instead of something else. And sometimes it's not that simple to decide what you should pay more attention to, especially when it comes to totally different areas of your life, like should you hang out with your friends this Friday or move one step further towards your big project. You can't always say what definitely seems more important, so you can make trade-offs. When I'm in the middle of such situations, I usually try to look at bigger picture and decide what tasks can wait and what really needs to get done as soon as possible. And last topic. As McEwen wrote, the best asset we have for making a contribution to the world is ourselves. And lack of sleep can damage your asset. And from what I've heard from other people who want to be healthy, sleep isn't as often mentioned as a necessity when it comes to a healthy lifestyle. Optimizing your diet and exercising is awesome, but they are not the only things I strongly believe you should pay attention to. So, if I know that tomorrow is going to be a very important day that will change my life drastically, I sleep for solid 8, maybe 9 hours. And if I know that tomorrow is probably not going to be the type of day, I still go to sleep at usual time and wake up feeling good. And these things aren't isolated from one another. If you don't sleep enough, your body probably won't recover after workouts as quickly as possible. And lack of sleep can have an impact on your food choice as well. Alright, I think that's enough for today. I truly hope this video was helpful. Subscribe if you want to see more, and definitely have a good day.